Hi everybody, Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Saturday, February the 1st. Kentucky Derby prep action, Kentucky Derby qualifying, points on the line in the Grade 3 $250,000 Withers Stakes. Let's take a peek at this field. We're going 1 1/8 at the Big A. We've got a field of 8 in here. SHOTSKI, the winner of the Remsen at this distance last fall, is your 2-1 morning line favorite. Todd Pletcher has the 8. PORTHOS off a very impressive victory. 3-1 on David Aragona's morning line. Sprint Stakes winner, Monday Morning QB up from Laurel, 4 to 1/3 choice. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race. I want to remind everybody you can download free formulator past performances for the Withers on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them and handicap along with us. Fast pace, I guess the pace could be faster here, going 1 1/8, and I would expect Monday Morning QB stretching out and drawn towards the inside to show speed.
Yeah, I have no argument with that either. I don't know how fast they'll go, but I expect that they'll try and make the front with this horse. He's not, when you watch his races, he's not one of those horses who breaks the gate, full of run. He doesn't seem like he's really fast from the gate, but he does have plenty of early speed.
And then 4, New Commission, who chased Monday Morning QB last time out at Laurel. Maybe this horse will show a little bit of speed on the stretch out. As for SHOTSKI, gate-to-wire winner of the Remsen, but is proven from off of the pace. I think he's going to sit and let the 2 and the 4 go.
I won't argue with that.
Let's take a look at the number 1, Mr. Short and Simple. 30 to 1 on the morning line. Source is a 2-time winner. Let's take a look at his most recent race over a sloppy track. And he's got work to do, Mike. Turning into the stretch, he's chasing this horse Money Ride, and he's just going to get up at the wire.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's, if nothing else, it's a very game win. He just never stopped trying to catch this horse who's out in front of him, and he will eventually tag him right on the wire. Listen, I don't know what to say about this horse. He's won 2 races versus Claiming Company. He is too slow to win this race on paper. It's obviously a very big ask for this horse.
Not a strong field he beat in that race. He has a nice pedigree by Pioneer of the Nile. The Dam was a versatile multiple stakes winner, able to win stakes races sprinting or riding. He does have Rudy Rodriguez in his corner. We take a look at this formulator effect, really for the ROI over the past year. 3-year-old last out, winning dirt routers, 23%, a 752 ROI. We'll move to the 2, Monday Morning QB. He has won 2 out of his 3 starts, and let's take a look at his win at Laurel last time out in the heft. He drew an outside post. He was wide throughout. He takes over the lead. He fails to change leads in the stretch, but he has enough to hold off New Commission. New Commission is in the blue blinkers. The winner in the red cap is in front.
This horse is, to me anyway, has run well in all 3 of his starts, Dan. He's going to have to stretch out in this spot, which he is bred to do, so I'm not going to worry about distance right now. As far as him not changing leads in the stretch, I don't know what that means, and I'm not going to hold it against him at this point. He's run well in all of his races. These connections are very good. They usually ship to New York with intent. I think this horse is a contender, and I can't say that I love him, but I think he's a contender in here.
He bounced out of that race with a quick bullet workout, 5 furlongs and 59 and change, perhaps allaying fears of a regression. He'll have to go 2 turns, but as Mike mentioned, he is certainly bred to handle the additional furlongs. The 3 is Max Player, one of 2 in here, trained by Linda Rice. This horse graduated going 2 turns at Parks at a mile last time out. Let's watch this race. Wet track, he's on the outside. He's just taking this thing over. Perhaps what's most notable about this race is that he beat 3 next out winners, and the runner-up came back to win by over 10 lengths at Laurel with a 76 buyer.
He ran well in this race. His career debut, first of all, it's interesting that Linda Rice took him to Parks for both of his races. I wonder if that was just to get him to go long. He's been 2 turns in both of his starts. His first one on a fast track, he was very green early in that race. That's not uncommon for first-time starters from this barn. He was making up a lot of ground at the end of that race, though. This race here, I liked the way that he finished it off. He looked like he was full of run through the stretch. I also appreciated the fact that it was on a sloppy track. I don't know if you agree with this or not, he did not look to me like a horse who really relished a wet track early in that race.
He was climbing,
climbing under a ride for a long way. His rider made sure to keep him way out into the track and probably out of the kickback. But once he gathered his momentum in the stretch, he really finished.
He's got the kind of pedigree that as he gets more mature and more experience. I think that's how the honor codes are going to be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With more distance, with more experience, they're going to get better. He's seeking to become the 4th black type earner out of this Dam, who's been very, very productive. That's the 3, Max Player. Dylan Davis takes the mount. New Commission is the 4. We saw him finish 2nd behind Monday Morning QB. Just couldn't find any excuses. He was in between horses early. He angled out with a big look at it in the stretch. We saw Monday Morning QB on his left lead say, come and get me. New Commission didn't get him.
I agree with that. As hard as he tried in that race, he was just never catching that horse. He has taken small steps forward in his last couple of starts. Maybe he can do it again. But it feels, to me anyway, it feels like this is one of the horses stretching out who really has a question to answer with this distance.
The key to the race is the morning line favorite, the 5 SHOTSKI, because I think a lot of folks are going to look at his Remsen. Let's watch it right now, where he basically went to the front. It was a brilliant ride from Luis Saez, realizing that on Cigar Mile Day, you needed to be forwardly placed, if not outright on the lead and close to the inside. And he got SHOTSKI out to the lead, opened up at just the right time, and he's just going to hold sway. A lot of folks are going to believe he's dressed up by the way the track was playing. Do you feel that way?
I don't know if I feel that way. He was certainly helped by the track profile on this day. He still ran a nice race. It also didn't hurt, Dan, that he got basically control of that pace for the first half mile. Nobody really came after him. Then they finally came after him on the far turn, and he had plenty left to hold on. I'm not going to knock his performance. He's run well in all 3 of his dirt races, I think. His street sense 2-back. You know, we talked about this a little bit before. I didn't love that performance, but I did want to give him some credit for being wide and never giving up in that race. He seems like that kind of horse to me, which I really appreciate about him. I just don't know if I would take him at something like 2-1 like the morning line has him.
Yeah, the way I'm looking at SHOTSKI is I think his street sense was an underrated performance. Maybe we underrated it too much because he was wide every step and he tried very hard. And he tried very hard in the final stages of the Remsen as well, although maybe helped by the track profile. But maybe he's just the kind of horse that can get these kind of good trips because he has tactical speed. Nice to know he can handle 1.1 1/8 at the Big A. The 6 is Prince of Pharaohs, the other Linda Rice trainee, going second off the layoff. Now, Prince of Pharaohs' first start as a 3-year-old came on New Year's Day and it was a daunting task to be sure. Let's watch the Jerome because Independence Hall is just 1-9 in this race. He's one of the top 3-year-olds in the country. I like how Prince of Pharaohs sort of angled down towards the inside. He's doing his best. It's only his 3rd lifetime start. First start out of the New York bred ranks, he ran okay.
I think he did run okay in this race. He was never going to beat Independence Hall in here. There's nothing wrong with this performance. His maiden win the first time on dirt 2-back, you know, he showed a little more speed that day, but they didn't really go fast in that race. I still thought he looked good winning that race, and I really don't think he did anything wrong in the Jerome. I don't know that this race gets any easier for him. I don't think he faces anybody like Independence Hall at this point, but it's not like this is an easy spot, Dan. I think this horse does have some talent, and he does have some upside.
Do you think they'll try to get forward with him? We know Kendrick Carmouche is real aggressive, and this horse did win his maiden on the lead. He may have been on the best part of the track that day at Belmont, but he does have that kind of early speed. Yeah,
you know, the maiden when they did go forward with him, they sort of let him have the lead in that race. I think they would have been content to take back that day too, but they just didn't go, so he just took the lead that day. I don't know what's going to happen here because last time, you know, Carmouche, they rated right from the start. That might have had more to do with Independence Hall being there than anything else, but they did rate this horse last time.
I wonder if maybe they'll rate so he lasts the 1.1 1/8. They'll be going 2 turns for the first time. The 7 is VANC. Stakes placed on the dirt, but this was really improved, switching to a synthetic surface last time out. Now, the synthetic surface got a test at Woodbine. Let's watch the stakes run of the display. They only ran 3 races. This is the 3rd. They decided to cancel after the snowstorm. This horse couldn't have gotten an easier trip on the lead. They just let him walk through a 26-1 opening quarter mile, and that was all she rode. He's a half to Colton, Mississippi, a graded stakes placed turf miler who's sort of settled in as a mid-level claimer. The Dam was a stakes winning sprinter on all 3 surfaces, so it's nice to know this horse has that sort of versatility, but that trip isn't available here, is it?
Boy, it doesn't seem like it's going to be, and he really did take advantage. We just, you know, showed the stretch run of that race, but if you want to go back and see what we're talking about, just go watch the first half mile in there. They just let him have the lead.
The jocks were ready to go home.
Oh yeah, he had his ears straight up in that race. There was nobody near him. He really took advantage, but you know, he's 2 for 2 routing in his career. He's got good tactical speed. Even if he's not on the lead, he's going to be up close in this race. There are things to like about him. He's going to be a price in this race.
PORTHOS is 3-1 on David's morning line. I have a feeling that this horse is going to take all the money in this race. Just looking at his pedigree, he's by Tappet out of a stakes-winning Dam by Tiz now. And just look at this most recent race. Yes, it's over a sloppy track, but PORTHOS had hinted at this ability. We're going to watch PORTHOS' maiden win, and he just is wide all the way around, and he's taking over, and he extends, and he is going to be geared down late under Jose Lozcano, a very respectable 84 Beyer speed figure. This is the typical Pletcher, you know, 2-year-old that you look forward to see when he comes back as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, just winning off for fun, and you know, Pletcher has just gone long with this horse right from the start, like he just wants to go all day. It certainly looks like it in this video we're watching. We'll see what kind of price he is. I sort of feel like he's going to take money in here. And I don't know how short I go. I like him. I think he does have some potential, and there are things to like. But as of now, anyway, I feel like it's more about the intangibles with him. You know, it's Pletcher. He's got a nice pedigree. He's got a figure on his side. He wants to go long. It's all those things. But on the racetrack, he's been okay. That win last time, it was impressive. It got a figure. But it was on a wet track. It was not a good field. He is facing some much better horses in here.
There's no doubt about it, but he's faced good horses on dirt tracks also. He ran in that 9-furlong Saratoga race for 2-year-olds, and Enforceables now won the LeCompte. And that Country Grammar is a very talented horse who starts back. I think he got hurt, unfortunately. But Porthos made the lead. I know they were going fast early, but Country Grammar ratcheted up the pressure on this horse, and he really had to sprint in mid-race.
I agree. It's also nice to know that he's sort of finding that in his last couple of starts, because he had no speed early on. In his last 2 starts, he's gotten much more forward, much more involved in the running. That's a good sign for this horse.
I know it's only an 8-horse field. How much does the outside post worry you going 1 1/8 at Aqueduct?
I mean, it doesn't worry me in this race. We'll see what they decide to do with PORTHOS. I doubt they're going to be sending from the outside, but I don't think it's supposed to compromise him in here.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 3 Withers. It's a fun race to be sure. Mike's going with Max Player. Really nice performance, beat 3 next out winners. That race really flattered at Parks, and again, maybe he didn't even like the wet track, and he won despite that very easily, and he's going to be a good price.
That was sort of the way I looked at it. I just feel like he's got a lot of upside, and as good as he looked last time, I don't know that he looked like a wet track horse to me, so I wonder if getting back to faster will even allow him to take another step forward, which he is going to have to do to beat the horses I put 2nd and 3rd.
I think SHOTSKI can work out a good trip here, stalking a couple of stretch-out sprinters that may not want to go 1 1/8. Now again, that last race he had everything go his way. You usually don't want to take short-priced horses off those scenarios, but I just think this is the kind of race he can get through again. I think he's being very cleverly spotted by Jerry O'Dwyer. He's my top pick in the Grade 3 Withers. It's race number 8, Derby prep points on the line. Approximate post time at the Big A, 4:25 Eastern. Best of luck.